Welcome to the Fat Cats Rugby podcast, bringing you candid rugby conversations, great interviews and insights into Ugandan rugby, and a touch of rugby in Africa and the world over. Fat Cats Rugby podcast is a product of Fat Cats Media brand for all your audio-visual content needs and equipment hire. Hope you enjoy this episode.
Fisheries.
Welcome to another episode of the Fat Cats Rugby podcast on a very, very chilly evening, Tuesday evening, when we record. Edwin just sent me a message saying that make sure that when you are talking to someone, don't call them darling if they're not your darling. So it was something that was particularly interesting. There was something on social media where a girl put out a message saying that please don't call someone else's person darling. Perhaps they were offended by something, but that's the beauty of whatever comes out of the rugby community, especially after an interesting weekend as the Rujumba Sevens. I'm here with Caesar, the fellow fat cat who is living his best life, enjoying some tea. Caesar,
Yes, sir.
where have you gotten the inspiration to be like this today?
Sevo.
Sevo,
My
eh?
role model, my biggest role model.
Sevo is your biggest role model. Why?
The man has ruled the country with educated human beings.
We are not going to get into that politics, but all I know is I hope you're ready to sip the tea the way he was sipping it on those national addresses during COVID. I hope the mics are able to pick up the sound. But anyway, another rugby weekend comes to an end, and yet again we look forward towards an up-country circuit.
Yeah.
The week, we'll usually use the week to just relax at this point because we were really asking for water by the end of Sunday. We were at Kings Park in Bweyogerere, the Rujumba Sevens, a very, very interesting tournament. But before we get into the Rujumba Sevens, we have two distinguished guests with us. I think I shall start from the far end. Allan Olango of the Rhinos. We're going to get to know a little bit about him. Allan, how are you, sir?
I'm okay. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here. Fat Cat. Thank you so much.
How was the weekend for you? I know as a player it can be very limiting. You guys don't get to start drinking like at 9 a.m. like the people who are waiting for the happy hour. Yeah?
But still, we enjoy. We get the same fun just like other guys who come in to watch because we be playing, we're doing what we like.
Okay.
Yeah. So the weekend was really good. The weekend went on well. We played. Just that we didn't meet our targets, but still I should say the weekend was good. The tournament itself was good.
What was your target for the Rujumba Sevens?
Yeah, we're looking at reaching finals for the Rujumba Sevens, but came short because we didn't top our group, so we met a tougher team in the quarter, so it made it very difficult for us to reach the semis and go to the finals.
What was your fondest moment really from the weekend?
The weekend?
Yeah.
I should say playing Cobs in quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the moment, yeah.
Yeah, because it's a game that you trailed fast for quite a while,
Yeah.
Putting Caesar on a lot of pressure. I'm sure at that point he had even ordered another cup of tea when he was at Kings Park. But then you somehow found it in you to have a resurgence and come back. But unfortunately, it was too little, too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we woke up in the last minute of first half, and then second half we came in. We played well. Just that I think the yellow card also costed us in the first half. Made them get the opportunity to score more tries, like 2 tries, and then from second half we realized we could do better. So when we started coming up, unfortunately time wasn't on our side. So but it was really a good game. Yeah.
Off the pitch, really, did you have anything that you enjoyed about the weekend besides the rugby action?
Yeah. I would say yes. The fans that came in, it was really good seeing that number of fans coming in to watch rugby for a 2-day tournament. Yeah, that was something that I really liked.
Did you sign any autographs?
No.
You don't think you've reached that level yet?
Not yet.
Anyway, we are going to come back. But the person closest to me is someone I should consider him a good friend of mine. We have tangled a bit on the pitch. We have transitioned into different directions. He's still clinging on to his playing days, but while also imparting his wisdom onto the younger generation. And I'm still telling him that he has the legs to perhaps get a national team call-up, especially for the 15s. Mr. Trevor Tusiime. Trevor.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for honoring our invite onto the Fat Cats podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. I have been waiting for Mongers person.
Where have you been waiting? We actually, when I was envisioning a podcast with someone from Mongers, I thought maybe you guys would invite us by the beach, water, fish. Would that be a nice setting? Maybe another time.
We will organize that.
Please, that would be very, very nice. But anyway, there's a lot to talk about. But Mongers, really, there's been sort of a transition as well going on in Mongers. We used to assimilate Mongers a lot with the old guard, a lot of experienced players, Simon Wakabi and the like. But now we are seeing a lot of young boys, Mark William Lukwago, and Aaron, he's called Robin. Yeah, so many of those guys. So what inspired that transition? And maybe just walk us through how you, from a coaching perspective, you saw the Rujumba Sevens in the Mongers perspective.
Okay. Previously, I think right after lockdown, that was 2021, that's when I was called up to be head coach Sevens for the Mongers.
Okay.
And I immediately thought, you know what, to hell with the old guys. Let us groom the young talent now. The old guys can come and support the system in the 15s, but we need to create culture, to groom players into a culture that will stay longer than just now. We don't need old players playing now, and 2024 you don't have a squad, you're starting from scratch, you're fighting relegation. I'd rather fight relegation now and then groom the team for the future. So without me, they won't again look out of place. You understand? So from that time, I immediately started calling up young lads, and we started a transition in culture, and also the style of play had to change as well to favor the skill set and the young lads in the system.
Well, that was great. But from I don't know if I'm to be honest, I don't think I saw you being that kind of person that would be in coaching. I saw you move like more on the upper side of management, in the corporate, in marketing, in everything like that.
Yeah.
Maybe legal. What really gave you that spark to take onto that responsibility? Because it's something that is very, very, it's not an easy job. It needs a lot of patience. It needs a lot of homework on your end.
Yes.
So where did you get that what inspired you to really take on that coaching mantle?
Surprisingly, right after my high school at Hana International, I started some work with Miles, surprisingly, at Turkish Light Academy. I started coaching there, and coaching in schools is really tasking and challenging. So I learned how to deal with the young lads, which explains the kind of squad I have right now. So just like that, I started coaching in schools for about 2-3 years, and I think I did so well with Light Academy because I was on the coaching team when they actually won their first title. And straight after that, I started helping out with the Django squad in Mongers, and the management of Mongers actually noticed I have the skill, so I was called up in 2021 to take over the Sevens squad.
Yeah, that's interesting. Caesar, you've been there quietly enjoying your tea,
Yeah.
like a real planned kid. But tell us about your weekend. I know your prediction almost came true.
Yeah.
You did tell us that Pirates would not make the final, and they didn't make the final. Unfortunately, in your predictions, you did account for heathens. Heathens that always knows how to ruffle Cobb's feathers.
Yeah.
So, you've had a bit of time to reflect. What are your thoughts about Rujumba, on pitch and off pitch?
Rujumba, first and foremost, on pitch. The tournament was really good. I wasn't able to watch day one because I had some unavoidable circumstances on top of my wedding. A wedding I attended.
Please, director, you recall from last weekend we were said exactly here, and we said the only reason one should miss a circuit is when it is their own wedding. What has Caesar said now? My wedding.
No.
You see, Kampala men, you always give yourselves.
So you see, when you don't attend weddings, yours might not be attended. Anyway, let's go back.
Which is not a bad thing.
Says someone who is single. Anyway, the games. I watched day two. I missed day one, but from what I saw on Twitter, it seems day one was very interesting. Very, very interesting. And day two was really amazing. Day two started with a game against Rhinos that shook me a bit. I'm first and foremost impressed, and I'm happy Olango is here. I'm impressed with what Rhinos is doing, and kudos to them. They're doing really, really good. Mongers that found itself, doing so well on day two. The rugby has generally improved. Kings Park rugby was amazing all the way. Like the girls, the placement games were amazing. It's just unfortunate that such rugby will be overshadowed by a mistake call or a discussion about a ref's call or anything. But generally, the rugby was really, really, really amazing. And then off pitch, I don't. What's this? They said I don't like Pirates. Anyway, I don't like Pirates, but but their organization off pitch, I don't know what Kings Park does, but they outdid themselves on the weekend. The party was really amazing, and despite the truth coming out and them not getting to the final, they don't go away. The party is still the same. They talk to you, man. Kings Park was really amazing. It was fun-filled. People stayed there. They attended. All clubs didn't go away. Like all clubs stayed. It was really merrymaking. We were whining about the ref's call. Then you find guys trying to explain the ref's call. Then Edwin is talking about so many things that you probably won't remember saying. No, it was really, really amazing. Off pitch and on pitch, the rugby was high quality, and the fun was also quality. I enjoyed day two. I really did. For the first time in a long time, I left Kings Park at 10. I always leave Kings Park at 6 p.m. after the game's end. But this time, I was around.
Further emphasizing the narrative they put out about Cobb's fans.
Me.
That Cobb's fans, after the games, they leave at 6
No, it's
p.m.
me. I don't like... You asked me.
I'm also just a messenger. Don't attack me.
I don't like not attending Kings Park, not because I just don't like Kings Park. But man, on Sunday, the party was really, really. Also, Kings Park is known for Nigos. Now me, Nigos. Why waste time when I'm not going to finish?
When you're married,
When I'm not going to finish the. Okay. Yeah, then it was fun.
Let's before we talk about the trophies a little bit. What do you think we can do about, because there's been a scandal about, and I want to pick your minds as well about this. the scandal with the referee Umar Balikanda, who had a very, very good tournament. But unfortunately, the sad bit of this life is many times you will not get the flowers for the good that you do.
Yeah.
It will be taken as an everyday thing.
Yeah.
But the one time you mess up is when the whole world comes at you. In one of the hottest moments, adrenaline, excitement, and for those watching, intoxication, there was a call that after review seemed like it was wrong. How did you feel in the moment?
Surprisingly, I laughed about it. Not because I wasn't hurt, but because it's just usual. Usually, Kao, I don't know whether it's a Kalango. Kao always has footage. Like, they always have. So, every time I complain about a ref's call, then the Kao footage comes online. Then I start doubting myself. I said, was this a bad tackle or it was an okay tackle? Was the kick in or was it in? Then I start creating doubt. The issue with Heathens and Cobs in 15s, I was so sure about what the call was, how bad the call was. But then the footage came and all of a sudden I wasn't sure. And I was like, but this one, Banang, this one. Like, because I knew, first of all, was it going to be a penalty try or not? Because clearly Otugo was going to score when they went for his neck. But all those things, that call just shocked me a bit. It shocked me a bit, and in shock, probably I was also not okay in my mind. But because of that call, I laughed. I laughed about it. And when I saw Umar going to talk to the AR, I don't know his name, AR, for some reason I knew that call was going to be overturned. People say Cubs fans whine a lot, and yes, we have a right to whine when calls are stupid. Not good, sorry. Calls are not good.
Call it stupid if you feel like it. It's fine.
Like, for some reason, and Ian, if you see that entire movement, Ian got the ball. He was so sure it's going to be a penalty. Ian got the ball and stood there. But when I saw him going to talk to the TJ, then I saw 20 Heathens players, okay, hypothetically, around the TJs. I really knew what was going to happen. And unfortunately, Umar always, from last year, Umar has been a good ref. But unfortunately, his day will be judged by that. My opinion about this, refs are human beings. They make mistakes. It's just that our issue, and I'm going to say this outright, our issue is all these mistakes that happen, match deciding mistakes that happen, always favor one club. And I've said this before. They always favor one club. And I'm not blaming the club. I mean, it's not their fault. For them, they are players. They go. I don't know why they always favor them. And that's my biggest issue. I talked about it on Twitter and someone came and told me, but for us, and there's no problem with clubs complaining about refs calls. I don't like it when clubs get their refs calls and pocket them because they are comfortable with the bad officiation, or they know that
because
if they
them.
or not favoring them as such, they know whether they complain or not, nothing will happen. The decision has been made. Then when I have a right to complain for my club, then you bring out your calls. But even us, you bringing me another wrong to justify a wrong doesn't make sense. The call was really bad, and we should do better. I don't know how. We should do better. That same AR, if you remember, Kid Goom made a very controversial call that Karim knocked forward. I looked at that footage. They said Kao's footage was one-sided. I kept quiet. That's why, like I told you last time, I don't like talking about refs. Let me look at the positives. The rugby was really good. That Heathens team, and I think I told someone in the semi-final, that Heathens team was very, very organized. They went back to the Heathens without Aaron. The Heathens with basic rugby. You see, Aaron is a superstar. He brings some flair in Heathens rugby. There's no flair in that club. But when they play their basics, take the ball rack, pass the ball, they're really good. And the entire tournament, they really were that structured, basic club. And they played well. They held us. They played better. We could have capitalized, in some instances, but we didn't. But unfortunately, even that will be forgotten because they won their trophy off a very freakish decision. Now, one can argue because if you notice, Tumor didn't give a penalty try. He had called a penalty in that instance before they overturned to the knock-on. Maybe we could have scratched a not one, not scored. Maybe there are maybes, but unfortunately, no one will know because an AR made a very weird call. Yeah.
Anyway, before we really get much into this, because I want to really pick Trevor and Alan's minds on this, just to just tell people, as they're saying, Caesar having his tea and us just choosing to have our beverages. Of course, me with my Nile special, and Alan, since he's playing, choosing to stick to water. This is the one thing I don't miss about being a player.
Our resident Nile guy told us these bottles. One is made from Barra because it has a bigger neck.
I don't know. We have to go back and maybe confirm with Monday.
One has a smaller neck.
One from Barara and Ginger. The one from Ginger has a smaller what? A smaller
Probably owns a depot.
neck. Let's call it a neck. And then one is slightly bigger. Then he also talked about the saltiness in water. I was like, where in Uganda do you find salty water?
There's no ocean, nothing, no but the man has
probably. Guys can just be there. But we are being subbed like this at Excelsis Garden Hotel.
We all know what team he supports.
They are the beautiful Excelsis Garden Hotel, very, very serene. It's if you're looking for a getaway and you don't want to get out of town, this should be your place to be because it's very quiet. Great service. They gave you a second table just for yourself to be comfortable. Here you're seated like our Jaja. And for those that are in business, the conference rooms are really nice. The bar area is really sporty yet casual. If you just want to get out of home and come and just watch some rugby, even if you're watching anything else, or just want to chill, the restaurant and bar area is nice, but the rooms as well are really, really amazing. And it's affordable. But I'll let them have to tell you more about the pricing in regards to their services. But you should know that you can call them at using the number +256 200 904 399, or you can use +256 200 904 999, and that's Excelsis Garden Hotel for you. But anyway, Trevor, just turning to you. We've been talking about referees. From a coaching perspective, we know the sacrifice that you put in as coaches, sleepless nights while the players go back home to recover. You guys have to take those extra hours to assess how the day was, assess how the training or the game week or game weekend was, and then you have to put yourself in a position where you're preparing. So that means those extra hours, that extra effort, the extra courses you have to do. How does that feel when a referee decides a game and unjustly decides it? And how do you think in Uganda we can be able to rectify that situation?
I really do not blame the people who are banned for overreacting, the certain coaches and all that, because it is extremely painful. And to me, as a coach having a very young squad, it's painful. It's painful. With they put in so many hours for you to just come and make a wrong call. But going back to that call that was made in the final, I wouldn't blame Umaru ideally, because he's, I would say, top 3 in the country right now.
Yeah.
But how you know is he didn't make the call. He called the AR for consultation. Now, but the call is being made by the referees. I would blame the system. Why are we still making calls that are wrong, yet we are consulting both ARs in the system? So I take it back to their coaching. Is it, do they release them too early? Are they being coached right? Because there's a lot of sacrifice from the players, from the coaching staff, the sponsors. One call like that would send your sponsor out of the system. So basically, I'm just saying we should be very mindful of what is at stake when certain calls are being made, especially in the finals. Who is on the touch? Who's running as an AR? Who's running as center referee? Who's managing a big game? It doesn't care if it's a group game. I cannot be seeing someone of little or no experience managing a game that involves, let me say, the winners, Heathens of Rujumba Sevens, maybe versing Walukuba, because Walukuba is actually a serious potential team. So anything can happen in that game, but a call would change the dynamic. Heathens may finish second, and boom, just like that, Heathens is playing maybe Pirates, and you don't know what happens. You leave a team like that in the quarterfinals, which is good for our sport. But because of a call, pathetic.
Alan, from a player's perspective, have you ever been on the side of a wrong call where you feel like this referee really was not fair to you guys? And how do you as a person, how do you react to such?
Yeah, very many occasions. I've been it really hurts as a player. You really feel actually more in that moment that you're playing the game. Really, when you're not mentally strong, really actually it spoils your game. Yeah. In very many occasions, I've been when I'm playing, refs have made okay, I would say maybe mistakes. They've made bad calls, but you as a player, you've seen a different thing, and from his side also, he takes it as a different thing. So going back to what happened over the weekend, just like Trevor said, for him he takes the blame to the system. My concern is what is then being done after realizing a ref has made such a call, a bad call or a wrong call. After maybe seeing it from a footage or something, what is being done to such a referee, or what action is being taken after that? So me, that's something that really worries me. What I keep asking myself, what's going to be done after?
Yeah,
can I add to
that? Yeah, sure.
I just feel like in the solutions part, I do not know whether they're doing refresher courses more often, but I feel like they need the most refresher courses, even possibly every after a week. I don't know.
Okay. Caesar, there were people on social media talking about TMO, not knowing that also the dynamics of a country having TMO are not just the basics. You don't just call for TMO and even just go and order stuff online and then you start being a TMO. But in a country like Uganda, where we are still even trying to get the bare minimums consistently right, what do you think can be done to help referees?
Yeah, look here. There will always be, even in international games that have TMOs, there will always be bad refereeing calls. Like, this is sport. There will always be an unfavorable ref's call. My issue here is, I don't know how to bring this up. Maybe accountability. Maybe because, Ruben, none of us here knows whether Umar was paid on Sunday or not. Allowances. None. Because none of the clubs contribute to the unions or to the refs association. Now, we don't know where they get their money from. Are we going to wait for sponsors? It's like in central government, how a judge, they have their own appropriation and they are paid differently and all that stuff. Or like separating arms of the government. These are refs that we will always attack, but we don't have the right to attack them because we don't pay them or we are not party to. Well, let me put it down a bit. In a club, say like mine, Cobs, or say, okay, let me just use like Mongers, because if I use Cobs, it will bring other things. Like in a club like Mongers, if something is not running well, Mongers, if I'm not a paid up member, I don't have a right to come and ask the Mongers Association or the club why this is going wrong, why this is going. But when I'm a paid up member, I have a right to question what is happening. These refs, I think one of the solution is we ensure that refs are very, very well funded. We should reduce some of the money they give to the Sevens setup and we give to the refs. Because
who are you taking away the Sevens setup?
No,
money
reduce
now?
Because where we've reached, we can't get more money. If we get more money, well and good. But if we don't, we reduce score, man. And those guys are well funded and they are doing well with their money. But we reduce and pay these refs. When we pay them, even if the clubs have an association, I think, the CRT, the Chairman's Roundtable, let them agree as a club that each club parts with, say, 1 million. Each club parts, okay, we don't have, but hypothetically, 1 million. And each club puts that 1 million into the Referees Association. What does that take away? That will take away the idea that refs have patronage to the places that take care of them. If all these refs, and I'm telling you, it's human nature, if all these refs train, coach, hang, eat, and do everything at Chadondo, it is only
Why
human
are you
nature.
identifying Chadondo?
No, okay. Legends. If let's say refs coach train and chill and do everything, Adilo is always that legend.
Yeah.
If a call comes and it's a 50-50 call and it's only human nature. But if we remove that patronage where all clubs feel like they can hold a ref accountable, that's one of my solutions, so that we ensure that every time a ref comes, we are going to Fort Poto. Do the refs know where they're going to sleep? Do they have allowances? And I'm not saying 20k per day. Like, this is a man who works that is going to, because now me or a player can say, I will come on day 2. A ref can't say, I'll come on day 2 because he has to ref day 1. So he has to leave his work. Let's ensure that their stipends, that their livelihood, their allowances, everything that they need to do their job is catered for. And then there, we can always say refresher courses, we can also all sorts of things, but this is the way players won't play to the very best because they've not trained well, or they've not been paid, they don't have allowances. This is somewhere the refs will go through. So first and foremost, we have to ensure their remuneration is top. And when we do that, and we have a responsibility to the refs association, then we can call them out. But we can't call them out. And Olango has brought a very good submission. After that game, there was a very heated meeting with the refs in the corner. But that's all they do. Utimba made a call against Heathens against Cobs, and he was adjudged to have made a mistake. And the union wrote a document, said the call has been. They said so many things, but in a nutshell, they said Utimba had made. I don't know. I'm not on Twitter so much. I don't know whether Utimba came out to apologize for his bad call. He didn't. Like, accountability.
I also think that referees, it's also wise for them not to just come out like that. I don't think their organizations allow them to do that. Even
then
in
let
Uganda,
the organization apologize.
It may be that.
Let the organization apologize.
Because even, you see, it's not easy for you to get a referee to speak. An active referee to just come out and speak. Otherwise, would have had Utimba come out and speak. Otherwise, would have had Umar maybe on the podcast. But they also deserve their voice. I just think that's one thing that their organization needs to do to work better with, in which they can be able to bring out their own statement, their side of things. And if it's an apology, if it's a clarification, then, because also one thing you need to understand is in Uganda we have a lot of fans that also don't know the rules, even some players. So many times I have watched, I'm not going to say the name of the club, but I've watched some games with some teams and their fans are shouting ref. But bro, that call was not right. Like, Like the call, they don't even understand the call they are shouting
They're
for.
just saying
They're just shouting
which
because
is also okay.
but those are
They're
fans. So how do referees also get their voice to also handle their own PR and their own image? I think that's also another thing that needs to be addressed, and maybe also looking at let's say maybe a fourth consultant, I should say.
That was my next question. What does the match commissar do? Because is he just there to ring a bell
Signs allowances
and play the horn to tell the time is up? Because they should also discuss. But also, I want to come out clearly. Sometimes you started this discussion with that point. A ref in a match, hypothetically, will make 100 calls, and of those 100 calls, he will get 90 right. But unfortunately, the 10 or the 5 that are wrong are usually match deciding. You get? So then we don't have bad refs. Our refs are good because they get most of the calls right. But I think the solution one is for us to hold them accountable. In order for us to hold them accountable, we have to be eligible to ask for that accountability, and the only way we do that is if we involve in their welfare too. Clubs can take some money, let them put money in a referee society so that the refs, and we demand the accountability so that the refs are handled, and not leave it to the union entirely or everything. We have to own this. We can't keep hiding behind the union. We have to hold this as us, because we will keep doing this over and over again. I'm telling you, there's going to be a club who will come out for Fort Porto with a bad refereeing call. We will keep doing. We've been at it. We were in high school and we're complaining about refs. We are here and we're complaining about refs without giving possible solutions, because they train. We have educators in Uganda. We have people who train them. They train. But there's certain things that we have to do different if we want them because I think it's putting our sport behind. These guys go through a lot to train, to do everything. The sponsor, we will mention very many people, and then one decision like this changes everything. So I think they're doing so well and we thank them, but whereas we demand them to be better and learn better and do, we also need to be better in terms of their remuneration, both through the players and the refs.
Are you aware that in Kitgum, an extra official, before we were informed before the sevens started in Kitgum, that an extra official is actually seated somewhere outside to spot those things that the on pitch or ARs can see. So I believe that was also in effect at Kings Park, but well, the calls are still.
So does the extra official make a decision, or is an after?
Yes, because one of my players.
It's a review thing.
No,
I think it's a review thing.
it's a review.
Because I'm asking myself, if they have no walkie-talkies, how are they communicating?
That's my question. Because if it's an after game thing, it's useless. Oh, okay, not useless. Okay, oh man, these days it's not useless.
This is over trying to be polite.
It's
Say
not
it as
useless,
it is.
but it's because now imagine that game there was a fourth official, official, and then he comes and says, "But you guys, from my vantage point, it wasn't a knock on." Then they discuss, but one man like this, who was well in his right, made the ref change. Also, anyway,
Anyway, guys. So before we leave Rujumba, what are your thoughts on the trophy? We have had 3 tournaments. We saw there was a slight criticism with the ginger one, that the wiring that was used on the whatever, but at least they tried. You give them an A for an A for effort or an E for effort, whichever you want to give them. But they had medals. We come to Kitgum. They was a very, very original piece.
Really did.
And then they had medals.
Best circuit.
No medals at Rujumba, and an unbranded trophy to make it even worse. As a coach and as a player, how would you guys feel about that? After 2 days of grueling rugby in that Kasana, there was not even a drizzle over 2 days. How would you guys feel? Oh, it doesn't matter as long as you've won. Oh, plus 500k as well.
Oh yeah, I was about to talk about that, but very underappreciated. That's how I feel.
Allan,
Yes, as Trevor said, really after winning a circuit,
Today.
after being crowned champion, I think it's really good to appreciate, and players really feel, though it doesn't seem to be something very much, but as a player, when you're being given maybe a medal or a nice looking trophy, it really looks appreciative to a player. But when you're not being given something, it doesn't really show a sign of appreciation. Yeah. So I don't know which body is responsible for that in this tournament, that we're playing, but I think going forward should be something that should be considered.
Do your team managers and coaches and management staff walk you through the tournament manual before the start of any tournament? Because maybe there are some things that you miss out that you should perhaps be knowing.
Yeah, I think some clubs do, but for a few clubs, okay, I know as a player also, you should demand, you should ask your team manager, player, you should ask for such things. Let's say like a tournament is coming, you should demand, you should know, you should ask your team manager what is going to be given in case we win the tournament, maybe MVP, things like that. As a player, I think you should also request for that from you shouldn't wait for the club.
Yeah, because you see, sometimes players also argue from a point of ignorance in that so many times these manuals are you have representatives from your clubs that sign certain things. Let's say 500,000 Ugandan shillings. Let's say no medals, XY tournament or XY number of games, and no money or whatnot. And you guys, from an innocent but naive point of view, come out and complain and look for sympathy on the social media. But then, at the end of the day, sometimes we shoot ourselves in the foot. So I really think that also it's something that not only you here, but also all players out there and all coaches and all team managers need to take initiative and in making sure that everyone is being told clearly what is expected from a given tournament before it even starts. But anyway, you were recently called up for the Uganda Sevens. I want to know what your experience was like being on that stage, knowing that there are Ugandans back there watching you, maybe a girlfriend somewhere, who knows, maybe you're married, who knows also. And also, while you tell us about that, maybe a new experience in the Sevens camp, how did rugby start for you?
Okay, rugby, I started playing rugby. Okay, I have an elder brother.
Okay.
He's the one who introduced me to rugby. I started playing rugby when I was in senior 2, not from school, from a nearby pitch, Lango College in Lira. Yeah, so the school I was in senior 2, we didn't have rugby. But then every time I would come back for holidays, since the pitch is just next to our home, my brother and I would go there. So that's when I started playing touch rugby with a club. It was Lira Bulls by then. So I would go there during holidays, but when I go back to school, there was no rugby. It was only soccer, basketball, and other sports. So when I reached senior 5 is when I started playing some serious rugby. I went to Chambogo College. It's a rugby school. That's when I started playing rugby. We started playing schools, but majorly we play sevens rugby. And also, since our coach was Coach Onen coaching us from Chambogo College, since he was by that time he was the coach for Stallions. He introduced us to Stallions. I started playing for Stallions that time. I played for Stallions, I think, up to senior 6. From that time, I was still around Chambogo College. I came and started playing for Chambogo Rugby Club. Yeah, then I played for Chambogo Rugby Club, I think, for 1 year. Is when I got done with campus. I mean, I got done with Form 6 as I was joining campus. Again, it's the same brother that introduced me to rugby, since he had joined Rhinos a year before me. He told me, how about you go and try out playing at Rhinos. I think it was 2018. Yeah, it was 2018 when I joined. I went with him, started training Rhinos again. Yeah, that's when I started playing, I should say, the league, major league. Yeah. That's how I started rugby.
Okay. And about the Sevens, the experience of being in the Sevens camp.
Yeah, I would say it's really being. I got a call up. I think in April this year. Yeah, I was called. I started training. We trained for 1 month before going to Cape Town. Then after that, we went to Cape Town. From there, we trained again for 1 month in Cape Town, Stellenbosch. But the experience has really been good. I should say I learned a lot. I really learned a lot from that camp. Being in that camp alone has given me a lot of confidence. I've become confident in myself. Training with a lot of experienced guys, Michael Okorach, Adrian Casito, Ian Munyani, Desire. I've learned a lot from them. Yeah, and also it was really a good experience playing my first game. Though as a new player, there's that when it's your first time playing, there's always that, we call it butterfly, that you really always that it's always there. You really be having it. It was there, but then since I was playing with a lot of experienced guys, I got confident. After I became confident, then I played. Good experience.
Caesar, I was looking at this Nile special when I was just pouring my last bit of it into the glass. And I remembered on the weekend when Edwin was unpacking all the coolers from the car. And then we had sent for ice. It took a bit of time to come through. Then we had to align with Dexter. Everyone was sending Dexter money for their contributions, so that we can all pay through FlexiPay and get those 40k crates, which were, at first we thought it was going to be the whole day, but then there were certain happy hours in which those moments were really great, I should say. It just gave me that flashback, and I said, man, I should bring it back, because even up to now we are still trying to recover. My voice is also still trying to recover. It was very interesting, but
when do players enjoy sevens, man?
They enjoy day 2, the last day after the final. They even enjoy more than us. But anyway,
Ruben, boss.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. So anyway, looking at what he said about the Uganda Sevens, it reminds me of something I read on social media today, a conversation that you are part of, where one of the more renowned 15s international players, tested players in the country, Mike Otto, talked about the fact, actually let me just quote his tweet, where he was saying that we no longer have a 15 side. It's a natural death with a new sitting office, which are yet thinking of how to explain the imperfection of a failed magic that didn't see the boys don the flag this year. The last bunch of 15s Tour de France sank. Bitter truth. So basically saying that the 15s is looking like it's going to die.
Yeah.
The 15s looks like it's going to really just stop, because this is the second year. We do not know if we're going to have any home test matches. But also it seems like there is priority for sevens over 15s. What do you have to say about that as we start to really close this one?
Yeah. And first, before we go for international, I wanted to first make mention about these two clubs, because you might not ask me. Mongers and Rhinos. There's something good happening there, and it's not good for us to be burying ourselves in the big three, CGU what, and we don't speak about the developments. We found Mongers in the semi-finals, quarter semis. Rhinos has been giving clubs a run for their money ever since. Don't forget, last year they won that tournament. Then they got promoted to the core sides again, and they've been playing amazingly well. And I wanted to mention this. I don't know so much about Mongers Rugby, but I want to mention about Rhinos, because sometimes I pay attention to them, especially when I was a scout for Cobs some time back. At least something has come. And I
You
wanted
want to
to
tell us you're no longer a scout for Cobs?
In a
I saw you talking to some Pirates guys.
No, Pirates players usually come from the school that I support, so they are usually my friends. Also Pirates. Anyway, Rhinos, as I want to mention Buloti. It's a former player. I don't know whether he still plays, but at least his work has come to pass. He has a bunch of. He does the same job that Dennis Etuket does for Pirates. They go scouting, they go nurturing kids from school, they invite them to train with Rhinos. They go to these other undersides that are not being taken care of properly, and they say, man, you know what? Come and join Rhinos, and we give you a chance. And they indeed really give. I wanted to mention about Gavin. Gavin, for me, one of my players of last weekend. Gavin is a Ngonian who came and joined box, trained hard box, and I think Cobs for some time. But then, because of the competition that was there, he felt like he wasn't getting enough playing time. So he comes and asks the establishment whether he could go to Rhinos. And at the time, very many players were going to Rhinos, and I was wondering what's happening. And then, of course, we usually say Buloti steals our players from us. But you see, he's giving them a better opportunity. And we always say the kids are not ready, they are going past. And then I also like saying Etuket steals players and convinces their parents and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, there's a path that I cannot ignore. These kids have come. Rhinos is made of a bunch of years. I think the average age in Rhinos is 25 years. They're just kids who run together, who play together. They struggled here. They were not in the cores. They won their tournament. They're up, and they're playing really, really well. So I wanted to mention that Rhinos is doing something good wherever they are, and I hope they keep it up, because the more the clubs competing at the top, and the better, because even their training sessions, they have numbers, they are working hard, they are running, it's a beautiful thing when you watch them train. And I'm happy, kudos to Buloti and everyone in management. I'm happy it's coming to pass. It's no longer only Pirates that is being seen as kids coming up and all that stuff, but even Rhinos, it's no longer the big teams that are nurturing. Rhinos right now has, if we compare who came from box, from Chifaru to go to Rhinos vis-a-vis box, Cobs and Pirates, and I don't know the Heathens as an under team. I think it's Stallions. They might take the boxes more, so I wanted to make mention. And whatever Mongers is doing, because I'm not there, but the fact that they're competing is really amazing. Back to the 7s and 15s. Man, I started that tweet because I was a bit frustrated. I was frustrated with the separation in the first place. But it seems it's going to be for the good of the sport, I hope. But you also have to understand where Union is coming from. Sevens is much more. Right now, Sevens sells us better. Sevens is the one that brought us all this money that we are getting from government that we haven't gotten in a while. Because all these government employees, these ministers will go and they go for a tournament in South Africa, and they'll be like, all these people, they enjoy themselves, they enjoy rugby, and then they come back and they are pushing for us. So you have to not for Otto to quickly blame the establishment. Maybe he has his views, they are there, and I share his views. We have really, really, really undermined 15s, and this is my issue. The coaching setup of Sevens is given a right to cherry pick anyone they want, and you see, no one is blaming him, because even the players they pick, once they make it to the setup, they're also remunerated well. You get off air, the Mongers gentleman was saying he was hustling until when they called one of his players to to sevens, and then he was a bit more comfortable because the guy was getting some money. You get now, you can't stop Olango, you can't tell Allan not to go for sevens because you want to try him in center position or whatever position in 15s. In 15s, they get how much? 300, 500k, and it comes after 2 months, 3 months, if 8 months. You will hear they take long. You get. But sevens, their money sometimes comes from government. They pay them directly 1,800,000, 500k per month. They are on contract for a year or whatever duration. The money is lucrative. I feel like because of that, because we are trying so much to get money into rugby, which is valid, can't we get a balance? Can't we? Because now most of our loose forwards are in sevens. Most now, one of the best hookers in the country, Faraj, is in sevens. Sydney, who has done so well for his club, sevens. Byron, who had been pushed out of the seven setup because of school and stuff, back in seven. Who the hell is going to play 15s? What if we have tournaments this year? Okay, it's an if. But we have tournaments this year. They are pushing for tournaments. And then say we get Victoria Cup in November. Do you know how long this national team is going to have to train? We are in August now. We're going to push and we have October. They will train for October. Play a team. Play, say, Kenya that has been doing tours. Play Zim that did tours last year on top of Foxing us. Play like teams that have been together. Right now, the league ended. We got our rest. 15 players have been on a mad beer and chill plan. They tell them now to train. You need a whole camp. You get. We really don't care about. Now you see a 15th coach. They will tell him you have 2 months to prepare. He has to list. He cannot touch 7th players because, the golden egg. Then he has to go around. And then after he picks players that have zero experience on the 15 side, we play against a tournament, we lose. Fredo is a poor coach. Let us drop him. He has not won anything. Then we will nurture. When we nurture and reach a certain level and we have players that are really good in 15s, snatch. Take to 7s because they have 7s up. Man, Massa is gone. Olango is gone. Byron is gone. Odugo is gone. I will mention. We don't have a loose for Desire. Mubarak, like everyone who does well for their club, 7s. Why? Because they have the ability and because the money is good. So what is the solution? My solution, as we wrap up, I wrap up. My solution, one, let's try and balance this. Let the 15 coaches be called up and say, we want to take, let Tolbert says, I want to take Faraj. But then Fredo should say, man, Faraj is one of my best hookers and we have a tournament. But for you to not disadvantage a player, because now Faraj also wants to board a plane. Faraj wants to get that 1 million per month. He wants to, can we also do the 15s? We don't have a lot of time. 15s play from June to around October. Can we find a way of getting the sponsor to push in more money? Or if the sponsor has given us money already, can Union find a way of, I don't know how we can do it, but let's not neglect 15s, because in reality, 15s rugby is real rugby. 7s,
what is 7s?
Festival rugby, really.
It's festival rugby.
You go, you see a 7s player playing music and is known for being DJ. As in, it's fun. Very good player, but it's fun. It's fun rugby. You go, you chill, and there's money because it's fun. But 15's rugby, man.
So could it be that also investments are in 7s because it's fun?
Can I ask just a small thing before, as I finish? We've won Africa Cup 3 times. I think so. 7s. 3 times?
3 or 4.
3 or 4.
Must be 3.
Why is it that the 207 team that won 15th Africa Cup is mentioned more? Guys, the current crop of fans, let's say like Pirates, the current crop of Pirates fans do not know anyone who played in 207. They don't, because they're young people. Why is it that they remember the 207 Adrian Bukenya, Timothy Mudola, and not the 7s guys that who have won it? We are now, it's almost our trophy now. Why? It's because whereas 7s makes money, 15s is rugby, guys. So me, I think we can continue, the leadership can continue using sevens to make money, to get sponsors into the game and everything, but 15s also has to be pushed to the level of sevens. If our 15s team reaches the same level as our sevens team, and we find ourselves competing to go to the World Cup, not begging Kenya to come and play us, then we shall see whether 15s won't also sell us. But we over-neglect, we cherry-pick our players for sevens. Let's make 15s also lucrative, because we have to improve it. It's really dying. If I ask Allan right now, whatever he chooses to play, of course he's going to go to sevens, man. You fly, you chill, there's money, man.
But one thing we also have to notice is that sevens is not for everyone. But somehow, anyway, it all goes back to the coaches that are picking. But I don't believe every player should be a sevens player.
I think the coaching systems need to sit on a round table for the selection.
Yes!
There should be, it's not just like, hey, you,
come.
No.
Now, like, honestly, I know I wish players all the best, but I don't think Sydney should be in the sevens setup.
There are certain players that are called up, and you're like, sevens?
Oh, man.
There's a criteria, really. Not just.
I want to understand what the plan was for taking Ofaraji Odugo there, as I know he's athletic, I know he used to be a winger and all that, he's a good ball carrier, but in what position are they going to play him? And who are the other people in that position?
Let them play both sides. Let them play both sides.
Or maybe we should, do you think we should still keep it open? You can play both 15s and 7s.
I don't think Uganda is ready to separate.
It's not. It's a very good thing to separate.
Because why is it that we are having exceptions for a few that can play 15s and 7s? I remember last tournament in France. Was it because we were in France that Philip played for the 15s?
Even Desire did he?
I don't remember Desire.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, but Philip did play for the 15s. Yet Philip is a 7s player, and they had already made the boundary clear.
I feel like that should be the line, to keep it open. If one player has to be special, keep it open then.
Keep it open. Don't curtail it, because let me tell you something. If you make a choice, if it's about choice, and a player like Philip, if it's about choice, Philip will choose where his life is better. Allan will choose where his life is better. But don't give him the choice. You think if you told Allan, come and play September, then we have tournaments, say we have Elgon Cup in November, you think Allan will refuse to play because he played in September? No. People love their country. Remove the separation stuff until when we are ready to do it. And I said this when it was happening, separation was going to hurt a side of sport. And voila, it's 15s. It's 15s. I mean, Jacob Ochen went and played 15s, I think, in France. Then he was later called up for 7s, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. You get. The guy does well, Tolbert picks, please. The guy does well in 15s for his club, I want him. Until when? So for us, we chill, we nurture. We nurture 15s players. Then when they do well, they pick. No. Let them play both ways until when we have a saturation of experienced rugby players for both sides. Then the coaches sit down, like he has said. The coaches sit down and they say, now I want to take Faraj. But Faraj is the best hooker here. Where is he going to benefit more? And let it also not disadvantage Faraj. If Faraj is going to get 1 million per month for the duration he's on the 7th team, let us ensure that when he's refused from going to 7s and stays on 15s, he equally gets that 1 million. When the disparities go away, then Tolbert might even suffer, because people love 15s rugby, but people go for 7s because of the travels and the money. When the travels come into play and
Trevor, there was a rumor going around that maybe they should start a concurrent season of 7s and 15s in Uganda, where each club has certain players separated to specifically focus on 7s, while the 15s league also goes on. These ones are also playing their circuits. What do you think about that? Is that realistic? Is that manageable? Is that sensible?
I swear to God, I would be for that any day if I lived in France. But unfortunately, what crop of players teams can, if they can barely release a list of 40 players a season.
Now 55.
Exactly.
Everything works.
Exactly. But you check the lists. Very few can even make 50. So how are they going to? Because you need a training camp for the whole season for about 20 players. Sevens. You take that off. 15s. Will they have anyone? Probably be stealing guys from school to play.
Allan, you have been particularly quiet on this. I know we don't want to put you on the spot since you're still an active player. But what is your reaction to that?
Yeah, from my side, I think it should still be open. I'm looking at it from a point of view that we have very little, very few. We have a shortage in the squad depth.
Yeah, like the player base for the country is still very small.
The club fails to raise 40-man squad, so I think it should still be open. The player should be accepted. Should be let play 15s, either 15s or 7s. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it should be open.
As we start to close this, Allan.
Yes.
What would you like? What's that one thing our fans and our viewers should know about you? Like, if they were to ask you, tell us one thing that people don't know about you that you think that they should know.
Outside rugby?
Yes. Everyone knows you're a great rugby player, hard runner, everything, but that other side of you, who is Allan?
Okay, Allan outside rugby. I should say I'm still a student. I'm at Chambogo University. I'm doing a course, Community Development and Social Justice. I'm a humble guy. I'm so passionate about the sport. But then outside that, I love being with people. I love being around people. I love being around people, happy people. Yeah, that is it.
Okay.
Ruben,
Usually humble people don't say they're humble, but
Edwin asked me to ask you whether you like Nugos and if you got some on Sunday.
No, I didn't get.
who are you asking?
Allan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
please.
didn't get. After the game,
But I
I
also think-
left.
You
immediately.
left.
I left.
Yeah.
immediately.
I also think Allan is a very versatile forward who will help our Sevens come move very forward.
Okay,
Me,
that's great.
I want Allan out of 7s. I swear.
You just want to scout him for Cobs.
No. Allan. If Allan should be one of the people
Okay,
they allow,
would you be happy if he came to Cobs?
I would be happy if the best players came in Cobs, even Magom, even Desire, but they can't.
The list is long.
Also, we have too many good players. But anyway, I would want Allan to be allowed to play both ways because Allan, oh my God, Allan is going to have a very bright future.
Especially, I understand what you're saying, especially when many of them are still young and developing. Like, they are not yet discovered themselves and maybe who they are. I know we it's too much of a luxury for us to say, well, no, these ones now are only for this side.
For this side and not
Anyway.
that side. Yeah.
Aside from all that, Trevor, you know we have shared a beer, 1-2 here and there, but I have never really asked how you got into rugby.
No. Yeah. Was at Hannah. And it so happens to be that I was in the same class with Philip Okorach, Alfred Bijik. That was the lot. That's the time they actually came to Hannah. I was actually a footballer, a very good striker. So I used to see them playing touch. I'm like, you guys, your game is rough. They're like, and they were my friends. Stayed with also Simon Makumbi of Cobs.
Yeah.
Here we call him Mr. What? Mr. Which branch is that? Mr. Sirok branch. I don't know if he takes you along when he's going for Sirok
Shout out
branch.
to
I've been to a
Makumbi.
few with him. So Makumbi is telling me, "Man, but you jangu tuzanye rugby, boss." I'm like, wait, baby, you're going to me boss. Like, it's tight. It's like, okay, first come and play touch. I started playing touch with these guys, with the Phillips. So I'd always be on Philip's side because he always liked passing to me and I ran. On the wing, because I didn't want any contacts. So just like that, slowly, coach, the late Sogi, came in and he saw me playing touch with them. He's like, you, I want your training tomorrow. And somehow he was very confident I should be at training. I was like, But I have soccer. I was like, I don't care if you have soccer. Drop soccer, you're playing rugby tomorrow. Just like that, I started playing rugby at Hana after a year. Because I was playing soccer and I was really good. But after 1 year, I actually stepped on a plane with the under-19. Under Sogi, with Philip Okoraj, the Bijiks, and all that. So, just like that, I was like, I'm not leaving this sport. After 1 year, I'm on a plane. How? So, yeah, that's how I got into it.
That's very, very interesting.
Why
So-
Mongers?
Huh?
Why Mongers?
Why?
Yeah. So, after being coached by Sogi, he was by then in Buffaloes. He was the number 8 at Buffaloes. So he was teaching us how to maul with a stick. So he caned us from one end of the pitch to the other and back, mauling. And he said, now that you've done this, come on Saturday. He got all of us pass outs to go and watch his game. I want to show you how we do it. It was Buffaloes versus Heathens. They scored 3 maul tries, and he's the one who touched down. So after that, I joined Buffaloes. But for some reason, I didn't break into the team. And a group of friends called me to play a certain junior in my vacation, to play a certain junior tournament that was supposed to happen in 2020 for the Mongers.
Yeah.
And just like that, I started training with them. And the head coach noticed I was getting phoned, and he was like, who was by then Ben Chigongo. He was like, boss, are you serious with this team or not? But I had created, there was a brothership. I felt at home in Mongers. I was really feeling at home. That's the difference I found when I joined Mongers. I don't know, I didn't feel that at Chadondo. But when I got to, I was like, no, this is it. I don't even stay in Entebbe.
That's why I was wondering how you make those commutes.
So many clubs kept telling me, what's wrong with you? Why? Why are you suffering? I'm like, I just feel like this is, when I come here, I'm happy. So, yeah, Mongers.
Okay, or maybe it was the proximity to the beach. Eh?
It also gives that off.
Yeah, I know it is a good USP to have. But anyway, tell us about your goals for Mongers in the Nile Special Sevens. Where would you ideally, if you saw Mongers there, by let's say one? I actually want to make it a two-way question. Toro Sevens, what is your aspiration for the team? And then overall, what would you look at and you'd be like, you know what, I'm happy. Mongers has done well for me this season.
Let me start with what my expectations were before we actually started. Before we actually started this tournament, this 7th season, my target was semi-finals, making at least 5 semi-finals, and at least win 1 circuit. But of course, wishes are not horses. But we had a very poor start. Stone City and then Kitgum, finishing in Challenger Cup. You have to revert. Now it trickles down to, man, you know what, we need to break that quarter-final mark. So the first time we break it, go straight to semis, we have to maintain the fire. So what I expect is at least make all semi-finals until we're ready to actually take the trophy. So until you make a final, you don't be wishing for that trophy. First reach your mark, then go hard.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Well, it's hard considering it's a young squad.
Yeah.
But coming into this season, that is what cost my team that in the previous season. But now I included some experience, which I think is enough to take us all the way.
Okay. Caesar,
Yes.
Toro Sevens, what are you really expecting?
Cobs winning, that's my biggest expectation. I want to hope and believe, because the first Toro Sevens were really nice. I hope that they have done better. I hope and I believe they're going to do better. I mean, their team, Western Rugby Championship champion. Sorry. So I believe it's going to come.
Keep in mind, Cobs is the defending champion of
Toro Sevens.
Yeah,
yes.
that was said last year in
2022.
Now, which Cobs won, beating Hippos in the final. Do you see Cobs doing that again?
Winning? Yes. I don't know who will play, but I believe we shall win. We shall win. I want to believe. I want to believe they're better prepared now, and because of the fun that was left last time, I'm sure even many more stakeholders are going to come into play. So I believe it's going to be a very, very good tournament, and I'm happy with how the union did it this time. They gave Toro last time, they've given it again. If an area can do like 2 circuits in a row, then maybe the development will be more, I don't know, strengthened. So I'm hoping for a good party. So far, so good. Sevens have been enjoyable so far. And on pitch, I have no doubt whatsoever. Of course, outside, upcountry seven circuits are hard because some people have jobs and stuff and they can't leave and all that stuff. And they can't come on like Sunday or Saturday evening because of the distance and all. But I believe the quality of rugby is still going to be up there. For the first time in a while, I look forward to watching other teams play other than mine, and that's a very good thing. Now I can watch all group stage matches, but other than
you have no wedding this weekend.
No. Other than Cobs playing, I would actually want to watch more of Rhinos and Mongers, because I don't know how Mongers reached the semis, so I want to pay close attention because they must be doing something. And Gavin made me happy last weekend. Too happy. People were asking me, how could you guys release Gavin to Rhinos, but not ignoring the fact that Rhinos has also put in the work on him. Remember, he hasn't even been here, but he comes and is studying out, but comes and seamlessly enters that Rhino setup. I'm going to pay closer attention for my own benefit before you start saying other things.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything. Why are you being defensive?
So I believe Toro is going to be nice. Come on, Sevens this year are going to be too nice, even when I don't like CC rugby. But the party is nice.
You're just a hater. Anyway, we have had 3 circuits of blockbuster rugby. We've had the Stone City in Jinja, we've had Kitgum, we've had the Rujumba at Kings Park Arena in Bweyogerere. Next one is Fort Porto, and that will be the Toro Sevens. So there's a lot more to go. Actually, there are 4 circuits to go. So if you have not yet watched any, make sure you watch one that's coming up. But just picking up on what he's saying, to the players out there, you do not have to be constrained by the fallacy of having to play for the big 3. Go out there and choose a club and find happiness and find consistent game time. You cannot develop as a rugby player without getting game time. Otherwise, you'll just be lying to yourself that you're part of a club that you've not really contributed to. Anyway, aside from that, it's been a beautiful, beautiful day. We have a lot of rugby to talk about, but on the podcast, it might end for today. But for us, we'll continue here in the evening enjoying the lovely view and the lovely soothing music of the Excelsis Garden Hotel. I know Caesar wants to order more tea.
Excelsis.
These things were not there in your generation.
No, Muchiga. Those words don't
Muchiga
exist.
man. How would the normal Muchiga man pronounce Excelsis?
Let's continue, man.
Anyway, guys, that was it from us today. We had over, of course, Trevor Tusiime, coach player of the Mongers. Look forward to seeing him play in the 15 sevens. He's imparting the wisdom. He's always telling me to come back. I'm telling him, you guys, now special is nice on the side. You know, being a fan is so nice. You criticize the other guy, you're like, man, that guy, you just round the other guy. Just put in the shoulder and tackle until they tell you to put in that shoulder and you feel the electricity that goes through your body. And also we had Allan Olango, of course, from the Rhinos, rising star, Uganda Sevens setup member, and also an integral part of what Rhinos are building. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for being part of the Fat Cats Rugby podcast, and see you guys next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening in. Share with us your thoughts from today's episode, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.